Well, originally I was going to focus on Nora and her, for lack of a better word, baby Darvo. Like Nora is having a lot of pleasure and fun at poking at Aaron's Darvo tendencies, which I agree are definitely there. And I even agree that the video she did on him was decent, though it was filled with a lot of lies and myth making, which is now the subject of this, because another target of Nora's rage was Poe and the Go. And I patiently went through Poe's video, which I agree with Nora was very deceptive and very misleading. And the way I remember it is that Poe wanted to remain neutral and take all this with a grain of salt because I did watch the video in good faith. I didn't finish it. It was like at least over an hour that I listened to, but at least last time I checked, Poe's channel is gone. So who is Poe and the Go for those people just coming in a little confused because there's so many personalities? Well, I believe the basic spiel is Poe is a retired policeman and he was on Aaron's channel. His big thing with him was talking about Danny Masterson, but then out of nowhere, he decided to get involved in the Miriam Francis case, which is a very big controversy with Aaron, Miriam Francis, and Mike Render. And Miriam was making a lot of accusations. And Poe and the Goat decided to, quote, stand with Miriam. Now, again, usually, as a rule, I just don't get into the private lives of these various people. And I even do that with celebrities. Obviously, when you do celebrity news coverage, you have to get into the private lives a little bit, but I try to maintain some boundary. Like if people get divorced, as Natalie Portman has recently, that is, I think, fair. We can report on that. But, things like on her and her children, I would consider a little off limits, but every case is different. So what's the big deal? Well, his channel is gone. I doubt he deleted the channel. It seems he probably just took it offline, and people are speculating he's going to play with the videos and start either editing or deleting them because he put out a lot of very critical videos on Mike Render, which you can do. I think the problem is, was he being hypocritical? And I think the answer is yes, because he made a whole lot of people angry, including DOA, who started going through his personal information, as well as a woman who I don't respect and I don't like. And we'll talk about her at the very end. She also promised to go after Poe and the Go. So he's upset some people connected with SPTV or just connected with the protest movement. And there's been a big back and forth. The thing with Nora, which I would defend him on, is that Nora wanted him to stand with Jenna regarding Aaron and Jenna in that whole situation. Now, I don't like the way Poe did it, but I think he's right to respond to Nora and the way he did insofar as the essentials saying, well, I don't take you too seriously. I think Nora is in a really bad place, frankly, where she's presuming now to be the leader of something. She's not. She hasn't earned that status. So if you don't want to talk to Nora or don't even like her, I think you have your perfect right to say, I don't like you very much. I don't trust you very much. Go away, please. However, Poe is in a bad situation. Logically, he can say that, but culturally and psychologically, we do have questions and problems. One is the most basic. Okay, if you're going to be neutral, and let's make the devil's advocate case, which I think at this point is very strong. So let's say you are interested in anti-Scientology, and I'll do a more full video on this, and you just don't want to get caught up in these various sides. You just want to go to an anti-Scientology protest. That is it. Don't want to get involved or connected to these people. And again, usually, I can speak only for myself, my own activism. Usually when you are active in these causes, I was more active in the anti-war cause with Iraq and other things, you do get embedded in all these relationships with friendships and yes, even romances. But sometimes people just do show up for the event. They don't want any more connections. They're like, I'm here for the cause. That is it. That is totally fair. That is totally fair. However, I do think the Jenna situation does complicate things by quite a lot because things are getting worse and worse with Aaron. So it's no longer, well, we're just criticizing his lifestyle. Your issue is you're just jealous. You're just jealous. No, it's not jealousy. I mean, if you're the head of the foundation, I think just drinking and smoking and what's the word? Having extracurricular activities while you're married, that's just not a good look for any foundation. Most foundations would get rid of people like that. That is simply not professional behavior for the head of a charity. But that's my humble opinion. So Poe stepped in with the Miriam Francis case and, no nice way of putting it, did some like white knight activity. Again, if you want to be a white knight, that is fine, but you are going to be held to a standard. And I think that's totally legit. So what's the big deal? Well, several things. And I'm trying to be factual. I'm pretty sure he mentioned in that video that Nora covered that he and his wife recently visited the grave of their daughter. Rest in peace. Apparently, their daughter passed away a while ago. Okay, that's fine. But then it's like, wait a minute. So what DOA found is that he's on some Thailand dating site. And again, let us not be naive. Let us be upfront and adult about things that usually men of his age and stature, right, who have retired and have a little bit of money, go to Thailand, mainly for one reason. They're not there to admire the Buddhist philosophy or even interview women for feminist documentaries. They're there for certain services, which again, if that is his life, that is his life. But then we're stuck. You're claimed to be neutral with Jenna, but with Miriam Francis, you were more active. Okay. Well, what's the difference? Is it the severity of crimes? Do you know more? Do you actually have evidence on Rinder? Right? He's a police officer. So did his contacts tell him something affirmative on Rinder? What is the logical difference? And if you are a white knight with Miriam Francis, right, and Miriam Francis focuses mainly on children being victims. However, she sometimes gets into, quote, the victims of assault, right? So do these extracurricular activities match up to that even? Or were you only signing on to Miriam Francis to hate Mike Rinder? In other words, he really doesn't even care about Miriam Francis's cause. He doesn't care about it. He did say that, though. Like, he actually has this thing where he's against human trafficking. Okay, that's a little weird to say that, given what he's really doing, but all right. And on top of this, is he married? I thought he was married. So is his wife aware of these things? Aware of these activities? I don't know. But again, I maintain complete consistency as far as possible. So this reminds me a lot of Joss Whedon. Now, I've covered the Joss Whedon topic on my Kubrick channel, and I'm sort of half and half. I do agree that Joss, to put it mildly, broke the law and did a lot of bad things on the Buffy set, Justice League, so on and so forth. However, is he the worst monster of all time? No, he's not the worst monster of all time. I can think of only one case he genuinely broke the law. It's one case, but it's still very bad. So I do think it's fine to criticize Joss, and if you want to exile him or cancel him, that's fine. I'm just here to give you the facts. So his most recent production was The Nevers. Again, I cannot give people's names because confidentiality. I know people who worked on the show. They proved they worked on the show. They showed me it. They showed me credentials. They gave me exclusive information. So this is true. This is verified. So they told me, and they provided a lot of photos, that things were just fine, right? With the cast and crew, they liked him. They loved him. No issues with women, so on and so forth. Make of that what you will. This was pretty rock solid information. And we do even have some public information that I can share a little bit to verify that a lot of people, I'm sure, still have problems with Joss, but they've mostly forgiven him. However, you make of that what you will. That said, two things can be true. So was Joss doing many, many wrong things? Yes. If you want to forgive him or not, that's up to you. That's a different debate. However, he did try to put out a reputation as a strong feminist. I think that's permanently shattered. I don't think anybody can take him seriously as a feminist anymore. That clearly was a complete lie he lived for decades. Now, he did do a lot of good things. He did. He contributed a lot to women's charities, did a lot for women, hired a lot of women, promoted a lot of women. Sometimes I think that was not a good idea, with especially the, we'll just say the Marty situation with Buffy. Well, we're not going to get into that. So he hired women. He worked with women. It wasn't all exploitive. However, two things can be true. So he did a lot of fake feminism, which helped a lot of people, but it was fake. So I think the best we can do for Poe is he did a lot of fake feminist, fake white knight work. He gained a lot of subscribers, but as they say, things go around in a circle. So now I'm guessing he's in panic mode with Aaron because he was too close to Aaron. He mostly gained subscribers through Aaron. He gained subscribers through Miriam Francis. I think it's only fair to ask him politely, well, okay, fine, you want to stay neutral with Jenna, and he gives some good reasons. He says, listen, when I was a police officer, I did see it. I did see people, and it's on both sides, obviously, but he did see women faking testimony that they were abused. It does happen, right? Amber Heard is a real thing. Okay, that's legit. It's just a lack of information. But at this point, we have overwhelming information that he's definitely guilty. So how can you be neutral in this situation, right? It seems like you're only neutral when it doesn't benefit you, right? Because he's going to lose either way. If he stands with Jenna, he's going to lose the Aaron people. If he doesn't stand with Jenna, he's going to be attacked by the anti-Aaron people. So he's in a no-win situation. Right, but that's where you have your principles and values. It shouldn't matter whether you benefit or not. What do you really think? And the answer at this point is we don't even know because he took the channel away. So it just seems all very, very scammy. He only stood with Miriam Francis because he benefited. It was popular to hate Mike Rinder, so he hated Mike Rinder. But whether he even cared about the issue, don't even know. So that's where we stand. So again, usually I think getting into this private stuff, we shouldn't do that. However, if you are going to be the white knight on these kinds of issues, they're very sensitive. They're very sensitive. So if you want to stay neutral, that is fine, but you want to maintain consistency on that neutrality. If you're only going to be neutral out of cynicism, well, but if Poe can answer these hard questions, I'm willing to give him a chance. But at this point, yeah, he's very untrustworthy in my eyes. I've been suspicious of him for a while, but now it's like, yeah, it's pretty clear he's just taking these cynical stances, and now he's just caught in a no-win situation with DOA and these other people. Well, again, if you want to maintain neutrality, that is fine. Some new people coming in, I can understand that because it is getting very hectic. But he's been here a while, so I think it's fair to ask him tough questions. If he wants to bark back at Nora, that is fair. Nora is also very abusive and narcissistic, so it's fair to push back on her. But other people who have legitimate questions, I do think he has to answer a few things, in my humble opinion.